So, when I say the word Dover, what's the first thing that pops into your head? It's the White Cliffs, right? Of course it is. But what if I told you that iconic view, well, that's just scratching the surface. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of this incredible town and uncover a story of fortresses, gateways, and some truly mind blowing secrets hidden in plain sight. I love this quote. It just nails it, doesn't it? A place where global history repeatedly crashes into ordinary lives. That's Dover in a nutshell. For thousands of years, this town has been England's front line. And we're not just talking about a dot on a map. This is a place where huge, world-changing events literally slammed into the day-to-day lives of regular people. All right, so let's start with what we think we know. The big, famous symbols of Dover, the ones that have served as both a welcome mat and, well, a pretty intimidating shield for the whole country. Ah, the White Cliffs. You can just picture it, can't you? For centuries, they were this incredible symbol of coming home, the first thing you'd see of England after a long journey. But think about the flip side of that coin. For an enemy, they were the first target. That beautiful white chalk was also a constant, glaring reminder of just how exposed, how vulnerable this place really was. And then there's this, looming over everything, Dover Castle. People called it the key to England, and you know what? That wasn't just some fancy nickname. It was the literal truth. If you controlled this fortress, you basically controlled the front door to the entire country. You really can't overstate how important this place was. Okay, but this is where we start to dig a little deeper and find the real secrets. Because the castle you see today, it's not just one building. It's more like a time machine, a place where whole centuries of history are literally stacked one on top of the other. So this is the view everyone knows, the classic, powerful medieval fortress. King Henry II built this thing in the 1180s, and it was an absolute beast, a masterpiece of military design for its day. The walls were up to 21 feet thick in some places. I mean, just try getting through that. It was designed to be unbreakable. But what if I told you that massive medieval castle is actually the new addition to the neighborhood? Yeah, this is where the story of Dover gets really, really interesting. Okay, look at this. Right there, inside the castle walls. On the left, that's a Roman lighthouse, a pharos, from around 43 AD. That makes it almost 2,000 years old, one of the oldest buildings still standing in all of Britain. And on the right, an Anglo-Saxon church from around the year 1000. The Normans came along, saw these ancient structures, and instead of knocking them down, they just built their giant, state-of-the-art fortress right around them. Incredible. There's a great word for this, palimpsest. It's like an old scroll where someone has written something new over the old text, but you can still see traces of what was there before. That's Dover Castle. It's an architectural palimpsest. Each new era just added another layer of history, building on what was already there. Roman, Saxon, Norman, they're all here, sharing the same space. So we've seen the history built on top of the cliffs, but what if Dover's biggest secrets aren't what we can see at all? What if the most amazing part of its story is hidden underneath? Yeah, that's right, because deep inside that famous white chalk, there's a whole other world, a secret city of tunnels, a hidden network with its own incredible, layered history. And these tunnels have lived so many lives. It's wild. They started out way back in the Napoleonic era, carved out as barracks for thousands of soldiers. Fast forward to World War II, and they become the top secret command center for the Dunkirk evacuation. And then, and this is my favorite part, during the Cold War, they were converted into a nuclear bunker, codenamed Dumpy, a secret hideout for the government in case of Armageddon. From Napoleon to nukes, all in the same tunnels. And let's just pause on that World War II part for a second. This is how many Allied soldiers were rescued from the beaches of Dunkirk. Over 338,000. And where was that massive desperate operation masterminded? Not in some grand London war room, but from a command post deep inside these chalk tunnels. It was from here that Vice Admiral Bertram Ramsay directed what Churchill famously called a miracle of deliverance. Okay, so we've talked about castles and tunnels and military strategy, but what about the actual people who lived here? For every admiral in a secret bunker, you've got thousands of regular folks whose entire lives were defined by living on England's front line. And the stories are just amazing. I mean, sure, you had generations of soldiers, but you also had these huge smuggling rings. Get this, by 1745, it was said that nearly the entire male workforce of the town was in on it. Then you have suffragists, campaigners fighting for change. And during the wars, you had families, regular people forced to live in caves and shelters dug into the cliffs just to stay alive. During World War II, they had a nickname for this area, Hellfire Corner, and it's easy to see why. The English Channel is so narrow here, just 21 miles across. That meant massive German guns set up in occupied France could, and did, fire shells directly into the town. Imagine that. For years, your daily life was lived with the constant threat of being shelled from across the water. And this is the real cost. 216 civilians in Dover were killed by enemy action during the war. For the people here, the war wasn't something happening far away. It was right there, in their streets, in their homes, every single day. So when you take a step back and look at all of this, the fortress, the cliffs, the secret tunnels, the stories of the people, you start to see this fascinating contradiction, a real paradox at the heart of what Dover is. It's this constant tug of war, isn't it? On one side, it's a fortress, the key to England, a barrier built to keep invaders out. But on the other, it's the gateway to Europe, the main port for welcoming people in. It's a symbol of isolation, but it's also a hub of connection. It's this visible, iconic shield that hides a secret world just beneath the surface. And if you need one single object to prove that Dover has always been a gateway, well, this is it. And the story is brilliant. They found it completely by accident while building a new road. This is the Dover Bronze Age boat. It is 3,500 years old. Let that sink in. That makes it the oldest seagoing boat ever discovered anywhere in the world. People were making the journey across the channel from this exact spot a full 1,000 years before the Romans even showed up. So in the end, that's really what Dover is. It's a threshold, a place of endings and new beginnings. It's where England looks out at the world, and where the world first arrives in England. It's a place where the past isn't just history, it's the very ground you're standing on. You know, what Dover really shows us is that history isn't just something you read about in a book. It's a landscape, a physical place packed full of secrets. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a town that we all think we know so well can hide a secret city and 2,000 years of history in its cliffs, what other incredible stories are hiding right under our feet, just waiting to be found?